Test cricket isn't just a sport. It's a 5-day examination of the body, the mind, and sometimes even the soul. The Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy wasn't simply about bat versus ball. It was about pride, history, and the kind of courage that can't be measured in runs or wickets. Over 5 matches, it gave us moments that pulled at every thread of emotion a cricket fan can feel. Hope, fear, frustration, joy, and sometimes even heartbreak. Today, we relive 5 of those moments. Not the flashy highlight reel cameos, but the ones that will stay with us long after the scorecard fades. Washington Sundar at Old Trafford. Redemption at number 5. The announcement dropped and social media lit up. Kuldeep Yadav benched again. Washington Sundar, absent for Test cricket for nearly 3 years, recalled. The critics did not hold back. They said, wrong call, out of his depth, a defensive pick. Sundar, though, is no stranger to surprise. His last big moment in whites? Sydney 2021. Debuting in a crisis, smashing 62 at the Gabba, helping India breach Australia's fortress. But since then, injuries, form, and timing conspired to push him out of the frame. Old Trafford wasn't going to be kind. By day 5, India was still 137 behind. Shubman Gill, gone. KL Rahul, gone. The pitch alive, the clouds low, the English quakes sensing blood. And in walks Washington Sundar. Not at number 7, not to tidy up the tail, but at number 5. He did not try to dominate. He did not try to survive in panic. He simply absorbed. He met the seam with the middle of the bat. He let the bouncers sail. He turned singles when England packed the cordon. Jadeja at the other end played his part, but this was Sundar's vigil. And then, the moment. Ben Stokes steaming in, wounded from earlier overs, looking for the killer blow. Sundar danced down, lofted him for a 6th and drove him for 4. 50 up, but he did not raise his arms long. The job wasn't done. When the handshake offer came, he refused. He pushed on, reaching his first Test 100 in conditions that break far more experienced players. Not a lucky 100, not a flat track 100, 100 born from defiance. And in that moment, Washington Sundar was no longer the guy from the Gabba. He was the man who saved India at the Old Trafford. At moment number 4, Chris Woakes at the Oval, one-armed courage. You could see the pain from the stands. Day 1 at the Oval, Chris Woakes sprints after a ball to the rope, lands awkwardly. The grimace tells its own story. The physio's face says even more. By all logic, that was it. A shoulder suspected to be dislocated. 5 Test series or not, you don't come back from that in 2 days. But Woakes is built from a different cloth. On the final day, England are chasing 374. Wickets tumble like loose bricks in a storm. Last man left, Gus Atkinson. And then, impossibly, Woakes walks out. One arm strapped inside his t-shirt and then a sweater over it. The bat held like a foreign object in his top hand. He switches to bat left-handed, protecting the shoulder. He can't drive, he can't hook, but he can run. 4 runs. Everyone costing him a wince. Everyone cheered like a 50. Atkinson falls short of the miracle, England lose, but the image of Woakes, wounded yet unwilling to concede, outlasts the final score. Sometimes bravery is not about winning, it's about refusing to walk away. At number 3, Lord's Mind Games. The battle within the battle. Lord's, the home of cricket, but over 2 days it became a chessboard. On day 3, Zach Crawley breaks Bumrah's rhythm, halting him mid-run-up, fussing at the crease. Shubman Gill takes the bait, fires back verbally, dropping the F-bombs multiple times. Fielders move just a touch slower. Gloves get changed a little more often and the tension builds. Day 4, England pressing for the kill. India digging in. Night watchman Akashdeep decides to flip the script. Mid-over, he calls the physio. The delay is deliberate. Zach Crawley's tactic now turned on the home side. Ben Duckett's sarcastic applause is caught on camera. At the other end, KL Rahul faces the full force of Stokes' words. He doesn't respond, he doesn't need to. His bat does the talking. Akashdeep eventually falls, bowled on the last ball of the day. But he's done the job. He shielded Rahul, chewed up overs and made England's night that little bit darker. At number 2, Rishabh Pant limping into legend. There are moments in sport that strip away all neutrality. This was one of them. Old Trafford again. India wobbling, Shardul Thakur falls, and from the dressing room emerges a figure no one expected. Rishabh Pant. He had entered the stadium in the morning in a moon boot and a pair of crutches. His injury, a fractured metatarsal. His history, a near-fatal car accident, a shattered knee and a habit of turning up when logic says that he should not. The press box, usually a place of polite detachment, comes alive. Murmurs, gasps. Someone says he cannot seriously be coming out to bat. But he is. Pant hobbles to the crease, stands on one foot, swings, edges, connects. Each run draws applause, each boundary draws disbelief. And when he finally falls to Jofra Archer, the crowd stands. The press box stands. Even the English players can't help but nod. Pant did not save the match, but he reminded everyone that courage is not always about winning. Sometimes it's about showing up when you shouldn't even be able to walk. And finally, Siraj's final burst, the last 57 minutes of madness. The Oval. Series on the line. England need 35. India need 3 wickets. On paper, England are favourites. Siraj has already bowled his heart out all series. Prasidh Krishna is running on fumes, but they find something extra. A Yorker, full, fast, unplayable, rattles the stumps. Another, just as venomous, takes the next man. The crowd shifts from chatter to chant. The press box for once can't keep still. Pacing, whispering, praying to whichever cricket god that they believe in. And then, the final wicket, a ball that feels heavier with history. It crashes into the stumps and suddenly nothing matters except the roar. Players hugging, fans screaming, journalists. Yes, journalists wiping their eyes. It's not just about the series win, it's about the 57 minutes that turned everyone in that ground into a believer. 5 moments, different players, different circumstances. One common thread, courage. Washington Sundar's quiet defiance, Chris Woakes' one-arm stand, the Lord's mind games, Rishabh Pant's limp into legend, and Siraj's final burst. The Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy wasn't defined by just the runs scored or the wickets taken. It was defined by people who refused to bend when it would have been easier to break. And that's the magic of Test cricket. The scoreboard tells you the result, but it can never capture the soul of the game.